Please don't take my sunshine away.
A wise man once asked, why is it that man's life is like a 3-act play? The first 2 acts, they're always different. But the final act, well, the final act is always the same. He was, of course, referring to the inevitability of death. That wise man was wrong. What we'll attempt to show you in this video is that the final act can also be different with help. With the help from the angels.
Who come in here every day. I call it angel.
Wonderful.
They are my angel. She's a one. You are one. So who come in here for me? I'm an angel. I tell everybody.
She does. She calls us her angels. I've been here when her bath aide has been here too, and when Sandy leaves, she refers to her as her angel, and she tells me I'm her angel. I've had some hospice patients where I just sit and visit with the caregiver because they don't want to leave, but they're lonesome.
And she's a wonderful person, absolutely wonderful.
They work so hard. You know, they put on a wonderful breakfast every year to raise money. They raise the money for a lot of the comfort care. We have musicians, we have a harpist, we have massage therapists that go around.
And massages?
Once a week. Heavenly.
My husband was one of the founders of the Hospice Foundation.
One of the nice things about being a hospice volunteer is that you do meet interesting people. And one of the moments that I really treasure was a very elderly, dear old woman who was quite ill in a hospital bed in her living room. And one day I was there and she said, "Bill, would you get in bed with me?" And I thought, oh boy, that's all we need, to have the housekeeper wander in and find me in bed with her. I said, gosh, I would love to, but that hospital bed is just too narrow for 2 people. So how about if I just hold your hand? So I held her hand for an hour, and we talked, and she relaxed and was okay. And I thought it was a great gift for her, but it certainly was a gift for me. I'm so fond of her, and I did what I could, and it worked.
We can support the families for a year after the death of the patient. And so this gives the patient some comfort knowing that we're going to be there.
I actually wear 2 hats with hospice. I'm on one hand a hospice chaplain, meaning I provide spiritual support to our patients and their families. And I'm also the bereavement support coordinator, and I run all of the grief support programs.
There is an organization called Jefferson Healthcare, Home Health, and Hospice that has really saved my life during this first 6 months of learning to live without my husband. I got a call from a woman up there and she said, "Can I come and chat with you?" And I thought, well, not sure I want to do that. I'll come and see you. So I went up there and I met with an incredible counselor on one-on-one for 2 months and learned some coping skills that have taken me to the point where I think I'm going to be okay.
It is such a gift to be able to be with a family and be with a patient in those very last days and moments of life. I have had the privilege of seeing great reconciliation, of seeing true joy and peace and surrender on both the part of the patient and the family. And not every death is an easy death, but there are many that are truly wondrous. You know, people often ask me what keeps you in this work, and I have to say that's part of it. That dying does not have to be this terrifying event. It can really be a wondrous journey with someone we love, moving on to another place. We don't know where that is or where they're going, but it can be quite beautiful. And her story was that over 20 years ago, her infant son had died of SIDS. And she had been carrying that grief and had been going to see counselors and had been self-medicating, sometimes with alcohol, over a very long period of time. And finally was able to say, I'm ready to look at this. And because she was the only one, we could do things with her that would be more difficult with a larger group. And one of the things we do a lot with ritual in our grief support groups, ritual as a tool for healing. And so we had asked her, what ritual are you holding? And she said, I've always had this dream of taking balloons and writing a note to my son and sending that note up to him, releasing those balloons. And we said, let's do that with you. So we went to Chechamoka Park, and it was a very rainy day, cloudy, overcast, and she had her balloons, and we had brought some food, because if you're going to do ritual, often food, that life-affirming essence of eating is an important part of that. And because it was rainy, we were the only ones out there. And we left the food under the little shelter. We walked with her down to the beach with her balloons and the note that she had. And she stood, and we just kind of held her, and there was a heron just a little bit in the water. It was almost like that heron was with us in this. And we said some reflections and did some readings, and then she let these balloons go with this note. And then we walked back, and we started getting ready to have our little meal together. And just as we were saying a blessing over the food, there was this huge clap of thunder. And of course, we don't get thunder in this part of the world very much. And we just stopped and looked at each other, the three of us. And she said, he got the message.
And you know, another thing is, people have said, well, how long are you going to stay with this grief group? And the answer is, and for all of us in our group, is as long as we need to. And I'm not fond of the drive between here and Port Townsend, but I don't miss that. It's an important thing to me.
We all die. And for some people, when the dying is a more gradual process, there can be pain and discomfort, and hospice specializes in alleviating that pain and discomfort, and also providing a really solid team of people to support the patient and the family. So providing medical assistance through the doctor and through the RNs, social work assistance, home health aides for bathing, and other kinds of assistance, chaplaincy work for spiritual support, the social worker for all of those kinds of intricate details that sometimes we have to deal with in our life. Volunteers who can provide all kinds of different support. Our comfort therapists that include music and massage and therapeutic touch and Reiki. So it's a very, very broad, comprehensive support system.
So I hope someday I can give back, as the volunteers have done to all of us who are in this support system. And I just want to thank whoever thought about putting the home health and hospice care program together at Jefferson. It's helped me cope and know that someday this chapter of my life will be a good chapter.
Is it relieves the patient's anxiety, and so when they are approaching death, that helps reduces their pain, it reduces their fear, and gives them more acceptance of what they're going through. They're on a journey that feels okay to most of them. I've never had a patient who's really been afraid of the process they're going through. It's amazing.
Every time I go up, book is keeping me down. Every time I go up, book is down. Now, I'm not dying anymore.